Growing up as wanting to pursue music, I never really had the support from my family. The people around me were kind of always doubting me, expecting me to go for a different career. And so I grew a thick skin because of that.
This is not just like something that I'm doing just because everyone else is doing it. Like, she'll kind of like see that I'm doing this because I'm kind of good at it because there's people singing along to it.
Being a fashion designer, it's really hard to make it in the industry in general, just because there are so many people that want to do the things that we do, but don't realize how much hard work it actually is. Every day I'm trying to push myself to be the best I can so I can stand out from everybody else.
I want to be remembered as the guy who can do anything. I like the ability to just get thrown into any situation and like know what to do.
I was put through the classic like piano and violin, and eventually music was the only thing that actually stuck for me.
Well, our ultimate goal of being a music creative group is to be able to set a standard of what Filipino-American bands can be like.
For the first time feeling like, wow, my music is actually making a difference. It's actually being seen by people outside of just social media.
I feel like we have this thinking that we have to be so cool and we have to be uppity and superior once you get up there, but in reality, there's enough room to share for everyone.
I want people to see me and like remember that moment in time where they saw me. It left an impact on them. It was a moment.
I don't come from a background of fashion, or I wasn't born in LA. I didn't really have a lot of connections. Everything I've created, I've had to do for my own.
Not being labeled to a specific job title, but just for me being me. And just everyone seeing my visual mind and my visual creativity, be like, wow, so this is Jay Ferrer.
Yeah. Ay, and I'm in LA for no reason, I'm just trying to run away, fall on my demons I'm fighting. I took a loss and then right after that I was broken up with, that is perfect timing. She be like, baby, I hope it's okay, but I've been through a lot at this point, I don't mind it. And I've been alone for so long that I'm used to the feeling, and low-key I started to like it. I'm never gonna show no emotion, cause I will be damned if somebody said, why are you crying? Never could show my intent to what I was doing, so sometimes I catch myself lying. And I don't know why I be sober, I got some excuses to let me get high like I'm flying. And they be like, where do you see yourself in a few years?
Hi, my name is Ashley Chang. I'm 22 years old, based out of Los Angeles, California, and I am a music artist. Ever since I was in elementary school, I was one of those kids who did acting, singing, dancing, and so it was only fit for me to end up in one of those things, hopefully by the time I was older. By the time I was a senior in high school was the first time I tried writing my own music. And I think from then I realized how fun it was just to be able to say how I really felt and making it into something that other people could relate to. Growing up, my parents were super supportive of me in terms of music. Even at like 5 years old, I was doing modeling and my parents would wake up like 4 in the morning to drive me to LA. And by the time I was in middle school, I wanted to be like a K-pop artist. And so we would drive out to LA on the weekends. And my mom always told me, it's okay, we can try. And if you get in, like that's when we'll talk about the struggles that will come with it. And same way that we look at me pursuing acting and singing, I always think about the struggles will come after when I've already made it. So until then, my parents have been really supportive. I also have really supportive friends, and overall just been really blessed to have that opportunity where it hasn't been that hard to pursue what I've wanted to do. I always hear people say, oh, she sounds like so-and-so, or she looks like so-and-so, her vibe feels like so-and-so. And initially it came off as a compliment, and I was like, oh wow, like I look up to these people, so it's obviously like a great thing to hear other people to say that I resemble them. However, as I've grown older, I've realized I don't want to be in someone else's shadow. I want my own music, my own sound to be very distinct to me, and for people to say, oh, that's Ashley Chang. Oh, she's Ashley Chang. That sounds like Ashley Chang. I actually don't have any music videos out, so it's kind of hard for people to tell what I look like unless you follow me on my social medias. And I remember there was a time I was out eating noodles with my little brother and my dad, and After I had finished, we were about to leave and the waitress came up to me and was like, "Oh, are you Ashley Chang?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I am." And I was wearing like sweats. I was wearing like a tank top, sweats. I was so nappy looking, but I was like, "Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm so excited to meet you. Thank you for saying hi." She was like, "Oh, I don't know you, but my friend knows you. He's working in the back. Can he get your autograph?" And I was like, "Oh." And I've never given an autograph or feel like I'm of a standing to be giving autographs at all. And so it was just a very exciting moment for me. And I remember writing my name and being like, "Oh, what's your friend's name?" And then I wrote "thank you." And my dad was like, "Oh, who is she? Why is she saying hi to you?" I was like, "Oh, her friend listens to my music." He was like, "Oh, floating?" And I was like, "Yeah, floating." And it was really fun because I was like, wow, not only did my dad get to see me working in real life, but I felt almost as if it was real, or it is real, but for the first time feeling wow, my music is actually making a difference. It's actually being seen by people outside of just social media. I'm Megan Gouet. I'm 22 years old, and I am originally from Cary, North Carolina, and I currently live in downtown LA, and I'm a fashion designer. I started off as a creative pretty young. I always knew that I wanted to pursue some type of career in the industry, creatively, but I didn't really know what I wanted to be. I originally wanted to be a graphic designer because I felt like it was the only acceptable occupation I could have while using my creative talents. But I actually figured out I wanted to be a fashion designer when I met one of my closest friends who actually is a fashion designer in New York now. I met her, and since I'm from a small town, I never knew that I could pursue a career in fashion design, and when I met her, it opened so many doors for me. It made me realize that I could do that, and that's what I wanted to do with my life. Being a fashion designer, it's really hard to make it in the industry in general, just because there are so many people that want to do the things that we do, but don't realize how much hard work it actually is. So I feel that every day I'm trying to push myself to be the best I can so I can stand out from everybody else. Definitely my proudest moment, I can say 100%, is the last capsule collection that I did. It was a big moment for me, full circle, because I always doubted my talents, and looking back 2 years ago, it made me feel really proud that I was able to fully create a collection from scratch and see it all in motion and see the final product. I want to be remembered as a creative for my work. I want people to be able to recognize my pieces because of how unique they are, but I also want to be remembered for the interactions and relationships I have with people, whether it's my friends, family, and people in the industry. I want to be remembered as being kind, hardworking, passionate, motivated, and just always a supporter of other creatives. My ultimate goal in being a creative is that I want to be able to have my career and live my life knowing that I didn't have any regrets, that I fulfilled my passions and that I enjoyed every second of it. I want to be overwhelmed and infatuated from the work that I've done and put out into the world.
My name is Kathleen Dizon. I'm 24 years old, and I'm based out of the Bay Area, California, and I am a choreographer. As an Asian creative, I struggled with being accepted as a dancer in my family. I feel like as a Filipino growing up, you want your kid to be a dentist, a doctor, or a lawyer, so my family would always call me a dancing lawyer. You're gonna be a dancing lawyer. And I didn't really know what that meant, but I was just doing it because that's what they wanted me to do. With time, I fell in love with dancing, and then they started to get a little more panicked because they're like, she really wants to do this as a job. A lot of times there's a specific look that people are looking for when they want to work with you for a music video. Shout out to Greg Chapkus because He's literally one of my mentors that put me onto a lot of music videos. He was working on a project and he wanted me to be a part of it. And he was saying like, well, they're looking for blonde girls. You're kind of blonde, so let me try to pitch you. So he really tried to pitch me so hard to this director, but the director was like, nope, blonde hair and blue eyes, and you have to have that like hourglass look. And I have Asian features, so I don't really have that. So it was really hurtful for me because I was there for like, I want to say 8, 9, maybe even 10 hours just on set with my glam all done, and I never got to be in front of the camera, and it was really like, it really hurt me that day. I definitely went home crying. I was like, I was right there, but they didn't want to use me. But I think that as a community, just make it so that Asian people can be seen as beautiful or sexy or whatever, in whatever shape, size you come in. Like, I feel like we just need to be more accepting of each other's features. As a creative, I want to be remembered as a quality mover with iconic choreography who spreads love wherever I go. Because I feel like we have this thinking that we have to be so cool and we have to be uppity and superior once you get up there, but in reality there's enough room to share for everyone, and I don't want to gatekeep people feeling cool from dance just because they want a bigger number on whatever platform they have. I want everyone to get from me like that Kathleen was cool and she was down to earth, and like her dancing spoke more.
My name is Nathan, known professionally as Loco Moco. I'm a producer, and I'm from Huntington Beach, California. Growing up as wanting to pursue music, I never really had the support from my family. The people around me were kind of always doubting me, expecting me to go for a different career. And so I grew a thick skin because of that. But I did rely on a lot of support from my friends. Being a high school student doesn't exactly scream rage and confidence. So I would post my beats just to myself on a private story, but eventually I got the confidence to post them on the internet, and I just got absolutely flamed. You know, I grew up in the era of Black Ops 2 Xbox 360 lobbies, and those are not the most nurturing. If you wanted support, the internet at that time was not the place to go. It even still transcends today. I would be in studio sessions with a bunch of different artists. You know, we can't deny that hip hop is, African American culture. And so, unfortunately, me being an Asian American in these sessions, I would be the last person to get the aux, if I was even given it at all. While that has affected me at the beginning of my journey, it has become a really big inspiring point for me. I think I speak for a lot of music producers that our proudest moments always stem from us being trusted with an artist's vision and being able to put it on paper and for them to be able to see it and enjoy it. Ultimately, my whole goal is to create music that promotes emotion, whether we're happy, whether we're sad, and to hear people truly enjoy it with the positive feedback, that fulfills me greatly. I still get that question, so are you still doing your little music thing? Yeah, honestly, sometimes that does get to my head because, let's be honest, Asian culture does not promote our youth to have a creative lifestyle. We're bred to be the same cookie cutter, 5.0 GPA, lawyer, doctor, and then occasionally play piano or violin on the side. We're at a point now where it's not if, it's when now. I'm surrounded by so many talented individuals that have the potential to make groundbreaking changes to our industry. And so not only am I excited for myself, but I'm also excited for the people surrounding me.
My name's Alyssa Go. I'm 22 years old. I'm originally from Fullerton in Orange County, but right now I live in Los Angeles, and I am a music artist. So my journey as a music artist began primarily because of my family. I was put through the classic piano and violin, and eventually music was the only thing that actually stuck for me. eventually in high school, in my film class, we had to make this self-portrait kind of thing. And a lot of people did shorts with like narrations or poems about themselves. But I ended up writing a song because I just thought that was the best way to encapsulate everything and put everything together. My teacher, after showing it to the class and like getting the feedback, he submitted it to a bunch of different film festivals, and it actually ended up going to the AMC in Times Square, which was insane. And I went to go watch it, and when I was there was a girl that was sitting in front of me, so she didn't know that I made it and that I was sitting right behind her. And at the end of it, she was like, "Oh my God, that was so good." And I was like, "Oh my God, I didn't know that that was like possible to hear that from somebody." And she had no idea that I was sitting behind her, so it wasn't like validation or anything like that, like to a person. It was just her own opinion. And from there, I thought this could actually be a career for me, and maybe it's something I'm actually good at. When I used to put my music out into the world on Instagram and YouTube and things like that, I would get a lot of comments from random people, and they would usually compliment me on my voice sounding white. And they would say, "Oh, you're gonna go so far in your career because you don't have an accent," or "Oh, you can't even hear that like you are Asian." And I was like, "What is that supposed to mean? I was born in California. I've been to Korea like twice in my life, and I've never been to China, and I'm Chinese and Korean." And so those things have stuck with me in the sense of not that it's hindered me in any way, but it actually, I think, drives me forward more to prove them that that point and that mentality in society is something that we need to confront.
Let's go, everybody. Let's hear it.
In all of my creative work, I always want people to feel something, which sounds really cliche, but especially in my music, I think I write primarily so that other people have something that they can relate to and feel like they are not alone in certain experiences. The internal answer, I guess, for myself is songwriting has always been cathartic to me and my form of healing. And when I go through like a heartbreak, I'm like, fuck, I can write a really good song out of this. So maybe that's the only good thing that comes out of it. It's my way of feeling better after things. And I think at the end of the day, my goal is it's a way for me to feel better. And it's a way for me to have a creative outlet while healing at the same time.
Hey guys, we are MNLA and we are a Filipino-American music group. Originally, me and my brother were really good friends with here, Dylan. For 5 years, we pretty much grew up together. One night, we all decided to go karaokeing, so we got hella drunk. And you know, after singing for a while, we thought we sounded pretty good, you know, and we looked at each other and we were like, hey, we should form a band. Yeah. But you know, with 3 members, it just doesn't look right? So we decided, hey, look, why don't we just add another person? When you look up people, you go on social media, so started scrolling. I have a cousin that kind of introduced us, well, not just that, but we also saw his videos online. This cool guy named Jay Ferrer who had this really dope filming style and pretty much our style as well. And so we kind of hit him up and told him, hey, you know, forming a group, or in fact, we actually didn't even tell him we were forming a group. We just said, you know, we like we like your videos. If you're interested, we would like to meet up with you and maybe talk about stuff. Hopefully he didn't think we were like weird, you know, because he didn't know us, you know. We just like we just talked to him, you know, just coming out of nowhere, asking him just to hang out with us and just talk about something, you know, it's secret. He met with us at like Korean barbecue, and we kind of provided a whole spiel of everything that, you know, we're interested in talking about, you know, forming a band and making a difference and going global and being, you know, kind of a Filipino-American band that will, you know, make waves.
What was funny was like, I thought these guys hit me up for a video, you know. I was like, yeah, man, I'll totally do a music video for you. And they're like, no, we want you in the band. And I was like, what? I was like, y'all know I don't sing. I was like, have you guys heard me sing?
No, he can sing. Yeah, he can sing.
No,
I was like, dude, if you're Filipino, you can sing, bro.
And then I was just like, oh my god. I was like, I'm for real gonna be in the Filipino One Direction. You know what I mean? I was like, this is crazy. I've never been on the camera like that before. You know, they were talking about all the touring, all the feature tours, you know, in the Philippines. I'm like, oh my god, my life is about to change right now. You know, so.
Well, also globally too. Hopefully we can do that too, like tour globally.
Yeah.
Our music go out there, you know.
Well, that's true. That's true. In terms of struggles, I think it would have to be people thinking that we should stick to one particular music genre because of the fact that we are Asian. You know, just for example, K-pop. But you know, how we overcome that is we just practically do what we want to do and just kind of not give a F about everything else. So just do what you love. Our ultimate goal of being a music creative group is to be able to set a standard of what Filipino American bands can be like.
My name is Sarah Takanaka, and I'm 21 years old and a fashion stylist from the Inland Empire. My journey first started around in high school when I got really interested into different types of clothing, but it didn't really pick off till around the beginning of college when I got more in touch with my Japanese culture side, where I draw a lot of my fashion influence and inspiration from. Some of my hardest struggles as an Asian creative was probably trying to establish myself and with no support, just because I don't come from a background of fashion, or I wasn't born in LA. I didn't really have a lot of connections. Everything I've created I've had to do for my own. I'm even a psychology major myself, so it was tough for me to break into the industry. Sometimes I do feel pressured by the public, just because something I was worried about was rejection, and it's something that I've realized that is going to happen no matter what, and it's part of growth, and I take rejection as a good sign because it helps me figure out what to improve on and to keep going. Some of my proudest moments that I've accomplished as a creative would be shoots that I've done these past few months. About a year ago, I would follow these Asian influencers, models, creative directors, and I've dreamed of like working with them because I love their work. And these past few months, I've been able to work with all of them, connect with them, get to meet them, and style with them. And I think it's really cool how in less than a year, I made it so far already. To be remembered as a creative is someone who stood out from the rest and was different. The things that I like and that I display aren't very mainstream or normal, so a lot of people on the streets always give me weird looks, or I know not everyone likes it, but I just want to be remembered as someone who always stuck to being original and my own ideals and style.
Hi, my name is Andre. I also go by Alt D. I am 23 years old and I am a visual jockey. In high school, I started dancing with my high school dance team, and during that time I got into video production. So that was a really cool experience. So I was like shooting all of our videos and stuff like that. And then in college, I went to my first rave. And I remember like just seeing all the production, all the lights, and the set that like made me be like, okay, I want to be a VJ was Porter Robinson for Countdown 2017, and it was, I think, like the turning point in my creative like endeavors, I would say. And ever since then, I was just like trying to make being a visual jockey my full-time job. As a creative, my hardest thing that I ever had to encounter, which I still encounter today, is self-doubt. It was kind of built upon like not having the support that I wanted. I was like a middle child, so like I was kind of like going through a lot at the time. At a certain point, it was like me trying to like fend for myself artistically. I was just trying to do my own thing while like trying to be the person that my family wanted it to be. A really good student, really good brother, and like art was like my escape from it all. When I became a visual jockey, I decided to make my own visuals, and then if you like look at my like first initial stuff, it's like, oh, like this guy, look, he got issues. You could just like feel the anger in my stuff, because it's like the aesthetic that I have right now is just like very red, very like built off skeletons and stuff like that. As of right now, I feel like I've been getting like really good support in terms of my art, because most of the time people don't really like see the vision until like you put out like a certain amount of result. And I feel like I've been on a good track and like showing people, okay, this is what I'm doing. I am putting in the hours, the sweat, all of that. And another thing too is I have like a really solid support system creatively. Ever since the beginning of COVID, I like had to like reevaluate like who do I want to be surrounded by. Over the past like couple of years, I tried surrounding myself with like people who are like very ambitious with their careers. Being surrounded by all those people, I kind of like to soak all of their knowledge in like a sponge. I feel like every like experience I encounter, I like to like just absorb something from it, because that can just be applied somewhere else where I need it. I want to be remembered as the guy who can do anything. I like the ability to just get thrown into any situation and like know what to do. But unfortunately, like I'm not there yet, but I'm like always striving for it, trying to like encounter as many mistakes as I can so I can learn from it, build all those experiences so like when the time comes and someone needs me to do something, I can.
My name is Jamie, aka Jamie Boy. 26 years old, from Oxnard, California, and I am a music artist. My journey as a creative and music artist honestly started when I was younger. I grew up dancing first, and I was dancing, but at the same time I was singing, but I was only singing at church. So no one knew that I could really sing unless they would go to church. A couple years later, one of my friends tried to record me at dance practice, to sing. She's like, sing something, like just sing a song. So I had my ukulele out, and then I just sang Sunday Morning, I think it was, by Maroon 5, and she put it on Tumblr. And then it like blew up, and I didn't even know it blew up, because I wasn't even on social media like that. And she told me, she's like, dude, you know how many people like have seen your video or like are saying like all this stuff about you? And then from there, I just started making my own YouTube videos when I started high school, freshman year. And then things started going crazy, started blowing up off of YouTube. And to be honest, I feel like my journey as an artist has really recently just started, like the past year. So starting now, this journey starting now, baby.
No shame, you ain't leaving in the morning. Phone ring, I ain't gotta check the caller, no. Baby, you got me on my toes, and I just can't let you go, no. No, you've been working.
I would have a couple videos that would be on like World Star Hip Hop. And it was crazy. I was like in high school, and like there would be just covers of me posted on there. I want to see what people think when I was younger. Looking at the comments and just people like just saying some dumb stuff, like just to try to just get in people's heads, or just say things that are negative and based off of just what I look like, just because I'm not this certain way, that I'm trying to be something else, just based off of how I look. That kind of made me at one point just not kind of want to post anymore. But then, like later on, I had a good team around me when I was younger to get me prepared in the industry and like how it is out there when you kind of feel like an outcast. So really, that doesn't really matter as long as you think that you're proud of what you're putting out, or you're happy with what you have out. And then from there, I kind of just didn't even look anymore. I didn't even care. Would just post stuff and would just leave it alone and move on to the next thing and just post that. Like it is what it is, and you're not gonna please everybody. So why even cater to people who don't really care about you?
Yeah, I'll be good, I'll be solid, and You know I ain't gotta say it often. Yeah, if you with me, we all celebrate.
I honestly want to be remembered as, you know, someone who honestly like made an impact on anyone who saw me live. You know, that like I want people to see me and like remember that moment in time where they saw me, like that it left an impact on them. Like it was a moment. You know what I mean? Like that's like one thing that I've been working towards, like live shows, performances, like really giving something that means a lot and just connect to the audience that's there to see me. Even in music, just the music alone, like timeless music. That's something that I've always wanted to be remembered as, where it's like 20 years later, we're still bumping Y2K. Like that's what I want. 20 years later, we're still bumping Jamie Boy, you know what I mean? Like I want my family, my grandkids, kids to be proud of me, like knowing that like they're related to me, or like I'm a, you know, descendant of this dude right here. And yeah, I just wanna leave a legacy, knowing that people, like when people think of me, like damn, like he went for it, like he did his shit, like he really went for that shit. So that's how I'm remembered.
My name is Nueve Leo, aka Base 9 Side. I come from the Inland Empire, California, and I'm currently 19 years old.
I fuck with bad shorties, baby, on major. And I got bad shorties, baby, on flavors. You never had none, baby, don't save her. I swear to God, I never push you in no danger. I hold the wheel while gripping on my taser. You know I'm ball like an Indiana Pacer. We ain't
I started my creative journey when I was about 7 years old. I moved to Japan around this time because I was a military kid. I had like those strict Asian parents where they'd be like, hey, you have to like learn a skill, learn an instrument or something. So I learned like how to play the ukulele, the guitar, the piano. It kind of got boring just having to like learn other people's music and learn different songs that I didn't really like. So I was like, why not just try and learn how to make my own?
Let's go, I been. And I know you ain't never fought with somebody like me. And now I really keep in touch, and it's still I might be. Tell me I don't do enough, I don't care how you keep. But you ain't never had to worry when it's what the price be. You always trying to put that pressure, but I do this. I'm really feeling him, and he feeling like a doofus. You trying to hit a play, but instead you looking stupid. And at any time of day, I'ma tell you what the truth is. Saying I'm a bad guy, cause yo new dude treat you.
One of the proudest moments that I've had, it happened like 2 days ago. I performed in LA, and it was the first time that my mom ever went to one of my shows. This is not just like something that I'm doing just because everyone else is doing it. She'll kind of like see that I'm doing this because there's people singing along to it, and it's just not me just yelling into a mic and people were just looking at me crazy. Like they were like matching my energy. So it's just kind of cool to show like, yeah, mom, this is what I do. People know that I do this, and not only do they know that I do it, but they actually like that I'm doing it because they're following along with me.
Are you excited? Are you excited?
Fuck no, I'm playing.
You waking up and you saying, baby, my legs hurt. And early mornings I get it, you might distress her. These people stare out the road when a nigga stressful. I just want you by my side for my mental. You got that vibe, I love the
The first impression that I'd want to kind of have on people, like for me, is just like, oh, he's that one Filipino or Asian artist that makes like Cali hip hop and stuff like that. Cause you don't really hear people say that about like Asian artists. Like I think the only like artists that kind of like come from Asia or like the Philippines is like Pilo, MNLA. Like as far as like California music, like those are the only kind of like artists like me off the bat that are like kind of up right now. So because when you think about Asian artists or like people that look like me, you think like 88 Rising or alternative or like R&B. But for me, I feel like it's like a different route that I'm taking. So it'll kind of like stand out or like pop out more because I'm taking a different route or different like genre. As far as like wanting to be remembered for, it's just like I was one of those like Asian artists that were in the California hip hop scene that actually like took off from there.
My name is Nueve Leo, aka Base 9 Side. This is my 9 Side group right here.
My name is Jay Ferrer. I'm 21 years old, and I'm a creative director based on the Inland Empire. There's one day, I think it was 2 years ago, I just took a car drive. I played La La Lost You by Nicki. I was just driving on the 91 freeway and everything, and I put the music at full blast with the windows down. As soon as I heard La La Lost You for the first time, I envisioned a music video inside my head.
That music video was amazing in my head. I pictured every little scene, every little moment in my head, and that's what really sparked my creativity. I just needed to get this out. I'd never even edited anything before. I'd never even touched a camera. So as soon as I parked home, I instantly bought Premiere Pro. And I just wanted to get this vision I had outside of my head. So I was editing for like a good 2-3 hours, and then I showed my friends. I showed a couple of my friends and everything, and they liked it. And that really just boosted my confidence. I'm like, wow, I really did that. Some of the hardest struggles I faced as an Asian creative was really self-doubt. And I just had this specific label that I needed to be this person that I'm not. When I first started college, and I just went straight into the creative journey. And I was very, very excited to tell my friends that I did this. That, you know how when you're in college and everything, you're just like, oh, what major are you? Or what do you want to do in life? When people ask me that question, I said I wanted to make creative content, make video advertisements for labels, companies, music videos, for whatever, you know? I got the same reaction. Oh, it really just self-sabotaged my mindset at the time. And every time that I would meet somebody, I would always try to avoid that question because I didn't want to feel that same reaction I felt. But I just had a little thought in my mind. I was like asking myself, do I really want to settle into society's opinions? Nah, fuck that, you know? I want to do what I want. So I started taking my passion a lot more seriously. I started collaborating with a lot more Asian creatives, a lot more local Asian companies. I just wanted to build my resume up just so that way I could be somewhat established as a creative and somewhat well-respected. Time builds up and everything, my mindset starts to change. I start to be surrounded with like-minded people, with like-minded creatives and everything. In the past, you know, I wanted to feel validated, you know, but that mindset changed. I should be confident about what I want to do, not what other people want me to do. I just came as Justin Ferrer in the very beginning of my filmmaking. I started to establish my brand, J Ferrer. It really just set like a different persona of me. It's just like more of my creative side. Everyone knows me with my glasses, my sunglasses and everything. It's just like really building up that reputation of who I wanted to be, who I always wanted to be, what my high school self wanted to be, you know? So honestly, my greatest achievement that I had as a creative was really just letting go of the validation of other people and just really changing my mindset and really just like doing it for what I want to do, not for what other people want to do. I want to be remembered for just who I am in general. Like, oh, J Ferrer is this guy. Like, oh, like, this guy's like really cool. He could do whatever he wants, and it will look cool. He could go into like the nightlife industry and stand out there, or he could be in the filmmaking industry and stand out there. You know what I mean? Just, I want to take my name wherever I go and not be labeled as a specific job title, but just for me being me. And just everyone seeing my visual mind and my visual creativity be like, wow, so this is J Ferrer.
Suddenly, you know, you got Justin Ferrer, this college student from Riverside. I go, just show me your work. And when he showed me his work, it was fire. It was amazing. He showed his work, like Rin and Tanel went crazy and invited us to the studio where Benny Briggs was doing their stuff. She gave him the opportunity to cut her video. Been seen by 1.5 million people. He's in college still. I never had that. His personas all changed, wearing shades, real cool clothes. He's editing and directing shit for like promo stuff for Asian clothing stores and Filipino clothing stores. He's all about the community, but he's so confident now. He's in college still, but he's very talented though. I mean, this guy's gonna be big. Justin Ferrer, remember that name.
I've never really been the type to get up and leave. If I love you, I'll fight too. I know I make it hard to be patient, but you tell me I'm worth it, and with you I believe it. You're the softest form of love I know. You're okay with me so slow. Every time